All right, here we go with another one, guys. We back in the house. Today we're going to talk about Leah Remini and Angelo Pagan. Um, Before we really get into their charts, guys, I swear I really didn't want these two individuals to get divorced, but we're gonna look at their charts from an astrological perspective, their marriage from an astrological perspective, their planetary alignments, and see how things happened. All right, they was married for like 21 years. All right, that's a pretty long time, right? Um, but before we get into it, the thing I want to explain to you guys is this right here. You actually have to be designed for marriage. Okay, a lot of people don't understand or realize that. Sometimes people personal planetary alignments, um, although they can get into a marriage, it can also end them. Okay, so they can try to stay into it, but eventually it'll end because of their personal planetary alignments. All right, um, more so with her. Okay, Leah Remini. So let's get into a chart with no further ado. Um, we got a birth time. We don't have his birth time. All right. So we're going to put his birth time at 12 p.m. But we do got hers. She was born June 15th, 1970 at 1:25 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time in Brooklyn, Kings, New York. So let's take a look at her son. Just pay attention to the cursor too, guys, because you got to learn a lot from this video. Just try to follow along the best way you can. And so we got a sun right here, 24 degrees of Gemini, right? Good. And then we got Mercury at 3 degrees of Gemini. All right, so I'm going to talk about a chart just a little bit, just to kind of so you guys can get a gist of her. I'm not going to get deep in her chart like that personally, but we're going to talk about it from a astrological perspective and a relationship standpoint. All right, because that's what we want to look at. We want to look at her relationship dynamics and her planetary alignments when it comes to relationships. All right, so and look at Mars right here too. Just take a look at this. She got Mars at 8 degrees of Cancer. Mars is in its fall in Cancer, as you guys know. She got Venus in Cancer as well at 28 degrees. Her moon also is at 5 degrees of Scorpio. So that's in its fall. But as far as her making money and stuff like that, I mean, look at the 10th and first and fourth and seventh house. She got the Aries point going on, baby. So we got that going on, which is cool. She has a nice little trine from Mars to the moon to the North Node. I mean, Mars in the 10th house. She got the moon in the second, North Node in the sixth. I mean, damn, she gonna definitely get work, right? She definitely can act. So it's all good, especially with that Mercury and Gemini like that. So that's really good for her, for her to be able to talk and, repeat lines. And Mercury's creating a nice little trine to the fifth house cusp. That's entertainment right there. So that's really good. Actually, she got a grand square. Look at Uranus. Mercury, Uranus, and the fifth house cusp. I mean, that's beautiful for entertainment. I mean, that's really good. All right. So, relationships. Let's look at Venus. All right. So here we go, right here, guys. Before we get to that, too, you remember she was in that Scientology shit, y'all? Remember that? All right. So look at look at the Sun in Gemini and Mercury in Gemini. That's all in the ninth house, right? That's philosophy and metaphysics and all the rest of the philosophical religions and stuff like that. So of course she got her Sun and Mercury up in there. So yeah, she was all in that Scientology shit, right? And then guess what, guys? She said, "Hell no, I'm about to get the hell on out of this." So she probably had a planet that hit Pluto right here in the in the 12th house or something like that, or say something came in opposition of her Sun, and she said, "Hell no, I got to get the hell out of this. This ain't working for me." So she probably came to a moment in her life where, hey, this is not good. Something squared that Sun or something squared that Mercury right there. So just keep that in mind, because sometimes things happen in life, guys, just like that. All right. I'm not I'm not gonna research of when that happened, but that happened at some point. You guys can look into it and check the date, see what planetary alignment she had on that date. Again, that's how you learn this stuff, right? All right, so look at her Venus. Her Venus is at 28 degrees of Cancer. What is that doing, guys? Right? Take a look. Just look at it, right? Look at Jupiter right there. All right, Jupiter is at what? 26 degrees of Libra. So we know that's a square. Look at Juno. Juno deals with what? Relationships, marriages. Now take a look at her seventh house real quick, right? She got a big stellium of stuff in her seventh house. She got the vertex, she got Chiron, she got Aries right there. She got Juno right there, 20 degrees of Aries. She got Ceres right there, 29 degrees of Aries. Well, it's 23 degrees of Aries. So all of that stuff is in Aries, guys. And so that's singularity, isn't it? It's not anything that's dual, is it? So, that's one-to-one relationship. So that's all her. She's just thinking about that one person, right? Just her. All right. It's not that she's thinking about the other person, but just her. That's singularity. We've seen that in a couple other celebrity couples who got divorced where, it was just they had, Venus or something like that in Aries. It was all about that self-love, all about the self, right? It deals with the self. I mean, that's what Aries is. I mean, it's all about the self. That's the first sign of the zodiac, as you guys know, right? So that deals with the self. So just keep that in mind, guys, because when you see this, that person is hey, it's all about them. It's not about that other person. It's all about what serves them, right? As we heard from a couple of celebrities before, which I'm going to get to their chart. You see they're not with anybody, right? They single. And that's another thing about Aries, that single, right? All right. So just keep that in mind, guys. So, and one thing about this Juno, right, is in Aries at 20 degrees, right? Now, the decadent of Juno, the decadent of this 20 degrees of Aries right here. The decadent is a sun decadent. All right. So just keep that in mind. Where's the sun? The sun is in Gemini. See that's a change, isn't it? Okay. So, and also Mercury is creating a semi-square to Juno. So somewhere along the line, guess what? She's going to change her mind about this marriage. All right. Somewhere down the line, years down the line, whether it's like 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, she's going to change her mind about this marriage, okay? No matter what, all right? So it just keep that in mind about the signs too, guys. So as you guys know, cardinal signs, it's all about endurance in the relationships, all right? It's all about action and stuff. Now the mutable signs, of course, it initiates change, doesn't it? All right. So that Juno the decadent is in it's in a mutable sign, basically. Not the decadent, but the sun is. Okay. The sun is in a mutable sign. Remember, the decadent of 20 degrees of Aries, it's a sun decadent. So you got to find what a sun is, basically, right? And the sun, where's the sun? It's in a changeable sign, right? A mutable sign. All right. On top of that, you got Mercury, which is in Gemini as well, a mutable sign, and is creating a semi-square to Juno. So she's going to change her mind about it. Okay. Somewhere along the line. Some astrologers call this a natal promise. Yeah, possibly. Some people do call that a natal promise. But that's either here or there, but hey, it is what it is. We all know somewhere along the line she gonna change her mind about this shit. We know that because we looking at it. We looking at a natal chart right here. All right. Now she do got some good stuff going on now. I mean, don't get me wrong now. I mean, look at this. We already pointed out the trine with of course, with Mars and the moon and the North Node, which is really good. I mean, but of course, take a look at this. This is another repeat pattern of her philosophy in that Scientology, right? I mean, she got the nice little trine from the sun right here to Jupiter, Jupiter deals with what? Philosophy and stuff like that. That's the natural house ruler of the ninth house anyway. So that's real nice, right? So she got some good stuff going on. I mean, look at Lilith right here. It's at 21 degrees of Leo. That's creating a nice little trine with Juno, right? So she has the ability to create or destroy that marriage, right? Now she created it. That's good. Starting off, I mean, look at that. And then she destroyed it. So there you go, guys, right there. So that's another thing. But look at Venus and Neptune. That's a nice trine. So she can really get into relationships. That's good. And to be honest with you guys, these two, they should have stayed friends with benefits or girlfriend and boyfriend forever. All right, forever. Um, kind of like Goldie Hawn. All right. I think she has something like that. Okay, she has a long-term boyfriend or something. I mean, if they would have did what, if she would have did what Goldie Hawn did, she would have been just fine, guys. All right. Now, the positive side is these two work. They are compatible, but as far as marriage, look at her personal planetary alignment. It just won't work. Okay. Let's take a look at his chart real quick. All right. So, Angelo Pagan. All right. Born May 16th, 1968 in Ponce, Puerto Rico, guys. So look at this. He got his sun at 26 degrees of Taurus. All right. Got Venus in Taurus. That's real good because we already know Venus is in his rulership in Taurus. So that's real nice, right? You know what? And going back to her chart too, by the way, guys, she has a lot of good stuff going with him, okay? And we're going to see that in a minute, how compatible they are too. All right, so he has Mercury and Gemini, just like her. All right, so they got good communication, so that's real good. Now look at his Juno, guys. His Juno is at 0 degrees of Scorpio. All right, so we know he doesn't know really anything about marriage. He knows a little bit, but he's kind of premature when it comes to that stuff. All right, more than likely they have really good sexual chemistry, by the way, and we're gonna get to that. So. He looked at the sex part of it. I mean, really good sexual chemistry with her. That's real good. He has Neptune in opposition of the sun. So there you go with that. All right. Jupiter, of course, that's at 26 degrees of Leo. That's good. Unfortunately, that's squaring his sun. And is also squaring Neptune. So that created a T-square right there. So is he stubborn? Hell yeah. I mean, it takes a whole lot to get him going. Okay, when you see, people have this Taurus sun, and you got Venus in Taurus, and you got other planets in Taurus, it takes a lot for them to get going. Okay, it takes a lot for them to change as well. And just keep this in mind: he has a fixed T-square, so he likes staying the same. She's probably like moving, and she's a mover and a shaker. He's not. All right. So in a way, sometimes that can hold that other person back in a relationship, guys. All right. Also, his moon it has a nice little trine with his moon. Although we don't have his birth time, I guarantee you that his moon is still trining his sun. Also trining Uranus, so he's good to go as well. So now let's take a look at their wedding day, guys. All right, so they got married July 19, 2003. Of course, I put it 2 o'clock, guys, because I believe in that duality, don't I? All right, they got married in Vegas too, so which is pretty cool. I've been to a lot of Vegas weddings, guys. Whoop-de-doo, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, they got married in Vegas, and let me tell you something. You know what? Their wedding day was all right. I'm not gonna lie to you. They had a pretty good wedding day. I mean, look at Juno right here. All right, that deals with marriage. 5 degrees of Scorpio. Look at that Saturn. That's nice. 5 degrees of Cancer. I mean, that's absolute. So we know just from that trine right there on this day, they're gonna stay married for a quite long time. All right, for quite a while. Let me just say that. So they're gonna stay married for a pretty good amount of time. So that's good. All right, that's what you want. You want to look for that stuff like that, or Venus trine Saturn or something like that. Saturn, like this instance, Saturn trine and Juno. That's really good. That's really nice. That's a nice trine. Actually, it's a grand trine along with Uranus and Mars. So, I mean, they had the energy to keep it going. I mean, see, that's what I'm saying about her. See, that's why I know it was her. Okay, it's just her. It's her personal planetary alignments as well as his. Of course, we saw his Juno that was retrograde, right? And on top of that, it was debilitated even more because it was at a critical degree of 0. So we saw that with him as well. So it wasn't just her, it was him as well. Their personal planetary alignments kept them from going all the way, just like President Carter and Rosalind Carter. They stayed together for what, 77 years? This couple, they could have made it, but their personal planetary alignments kept them from doing that, guys. So that's why I say you have to be designed for this. You have to be built for it. You can't just willy-nilly, oh, I'm about to get married to that person. I like this person. I love this person. I want to get married to him just like that. And you sitting there trying to make it work. The other person, they trying to make it work. There's always a breaking point, guys. And what this couple had, they had a breaking point. All right. And it's because they had several solar eclipses and lunar eclipses hit their chart personally. All right. So when you got that going like that, I mean, you have a breaking point. Okay. One of those eclipses are going to break you. It's going to break the relationship. That's just how it is, guys. All right. Now, this was a good wedding day. It was all right. Well, it was all right. I mean, it wasn't the best, but it was better than a lot of them I saw. I mean, for real. I mean, you know, that's Saturn and Juno. That's a nice trine. They did have a lot of squares though, guys. So that's why I say, I mean, like I said, you got to have more trines and squares. Okay, if you do have some squares, you got to have more trines and squares because those trines, they have to overcome those squares. That's just how it is. And you guys saw that in President, Carter and Rosalind Carter. I mean, y'all saw that, right? They had a lot of they had some squares, but they had enough trines to overcome those squares. Basically, those defects in the relationship of marriage. All right. So, I mean, just look at this. They got Jupiter right here. Jupiter is squaring the nose right there. Look, I mean, come on. That's not, they don't have any luck with loyalty, do they? They're probably not going to have any luck with loyalty. All right. Look at Mercury. It's at 12 degrees of Leo on that day. It's in complete opposition of Neptune. See that? That's what I'm talking about. Neptune is a higher octave of Venus in total opposition. So here we go with loyalty, right? But somebody's in opposition to be loyal to that person, right? And as we saw, they're getting a divorce because one person is not loyal to the other one, right? They want to get out of it. So their loyalty is not there. Their loyalty don't lie with that person anymore. Okay, it lies with themselves or someone else. All right. So when you see that opposition like that, you know they're not loyal to the love that they have for that person. They're in opposition of it. So there you go, right there. With just with that. Not including we got Lilith involved right here in Taurus. It's creating a T-square right there. That's what I'm saying. Now, technically, kind of like a grand square. If you want to put it has a 7-degree orb with Juno. Hell, to be honest with you, I throw Juno in there too to create a grand square. I think it's in reach, as I call it. You know, a lot of people call it in orb. I call it in reach. So I believe it's in reach. So they got it's a grand square, grand fixed square. And what did I say about the grand fixed squares, guys? That's just solidified. So we already know right here that I would say a T-square because you know what? All because Lilith right here, it is out of reach of Juno. So I would say this T-square with Mercury, Neptune, and Juno, even a fixed T-square is bad. All right, that shit's still bad. So it don't even matter. It don't matter how you slice this damn pie. This was a bad planetary alignment on this day. Okay, so they had an okay wedding day. They had enough to get through what, 21 years? And look, this is ironic, guys. Look at that. Look at that Jupiter at 21 degrees. They only got through what? 21 years? That's what I'm talking about. And it's that 21 degrees of Leo, that Jupiter 21 degrees of Leo squared the nodes. I mean, this ironic, isn't it? That they stayed together for only 21 years, and on the wedding day, it's almost like it was solidified on that day with that fixed T square. Okay, that's something, right? Well, we've seen that before where we've seen planets at a certain degree kind of, solidify and stamp their entire marriage for years to come, right? So we've seen that. We've seen one where it was like for 4 years. Okay, they don't stay married 4 years. We saw the square of four when the planet was at 4, the other planet was at 4 degrees. So it's just kind of ironic. So, hey, that's a theory, right? We're gonna put that to application. So that is a theory. That is a theory. So, but we're looking at that. That's kind of ironic right there. We got that Jupiter at 21 degrees of Leo. They only stay loyal to each other for 21 years. Isn't that something? So shit like that happens, guys. I mean, that's what I'm talking about. Look at Venus on this day. So Venus is at 18 degrees of Cancer. Well, I mean, that did a little something, right? I mean, it was making a conjunction to the part of fortune. They was luckily enough to be a family. I mean, Cancer rules family, so I mean that's good. That part of fortune, he created a nice little trine with the South Node, so that's good. So they had some pretty okay stuff. It just wasn't enough, guys, as you can see. Now, let's take a look and see why and if they were compatible, which they were, which is real nice. So they were compatible, all right? So again, guys, he's on the outside wheel. You see me going around? He's on the outside wheel. She's on the inside wheel. Okay. So it has some good stuff. Take a look at this, right? Look at Saturn right here. It's at 20 degrees of Aries, sitting right on top of Juno. So again, we got that repeat pattern of Saturn and Juno, which gave them that time together. All right. Saturn rules time in the marriage, which is really good. Now, it was at 20 degrees, not quite at what, 21, was it? All right, we get to that coincidence, right? But it's not quite at 21, but guess what? It's close. It's close. It is close. It's close, guys. So that's a nice conjunction, though. It's all this is happening in her seventh house, which is good. So that's what you want. You want the other person's planet in your seventh house, making a conjunction to one of your planets in the seventh house, or making a conjunction to your seventh house cusp, something like that. That's really good. All right. So just keep that in mind. And also his Saturn, he created a nice little trine with her Lilith. That's real good. All right. So that's real nice right there. So that's a pretty nice trine and also conjunction. So that's real nice. They had good communication. That's good. His Mercury, it was in reach of her sun. That's good. So they had good communication. Sometimes that shit was kind of argumentative, of course. Look at his Mars, and it's a separating aspect from her Mercury. But guess what? When Mars contacts another planet, hey, it's gonna be some beef. All right, I can tell you that right now. Now, they did have a lot of energy with each other, though. I mean, it was real nice. Again, nice touchy, nice communication feeling with Mars and her Uranus. That's real nice, guys. All right, so you did have a kind of a square when it came to her career and stuff like that. I would say her work life. I mean, his Mars, maybe he was getting upset because she was working or some shit. I mean, look at that. His Mars is squaring what? Her North Node in her sixth house. That's working service. What the hell? He getting mad because she working or something? Hell, he need to get his ass a job. See what I'm talking about? So stuff like that can happen, guys. Just like that. It can happen just like that. You never know. But that's how you have conflict, though. That could have been a conflict within a marriage. Like, sometimes that other the other person is holding one person back from, progressing in their career and stuff like that. So you have to keep that in mind. His sun is trining her Pluto. That's good. All right. Now, talk about good sexual chemistry. That's real good. Look at Juno. It's making a conjunction to her moon. That's a real nice conjunction, guys. That's real good. That's real good sexual chemistry. That's a real good sexual conjunction right there. Although it's moving away from the moon like that, it's still got some weight to it. I'm telling you that right now. So that's real good. So that's a nice conjunction. That's almost like having that Juno Venus conjunction. That's almost like that that Chile and Ursa Raymond conjunction. I'm telling you that right now. That shit feel good. So that's a real good conjunction. Also, which is really good, as you can see, her Venus is right there. So and his Neptune is making a nice little trine to her Venus. So they had some really good stuff. They was compatible, that's for sure. So that's real good. I do like that. I mean, I like them together, especially her, man. I mean, like I said, she's real nice. She's beautiful and stuff like that. Just kind of going back to her natal chart. I mean, look at that. Her Venus is up high, man. Oh yeah, she fine as hell. So, I mean, she good to go. I mean, with that beauty, man, she always gonna be sexy like that. So, but going back to the composite chart, let's just do the composite chart. Of course, we know what that composite chart is, guys. That's the midpoint of both of them. That's the midpoint of all their planets. All their planets are at a midpoint right here. So I love composite charts. I love doing them sometimes. But in this case, you get to see what actually, can happen and how they're really not, kind of built for marriage, right? So here go a repeat pattern when we talked about her changing her mind about the marriage, or someone in the relationship changing their mind about the marriage. Okay, she fouled, right? So it had to been her. All right. So again, here we go with repeat patterns of this. Look at this. I mean, this is a telltale sign right here. If they would have hired me as a consultant or something like that, I would have told them not to get married. Okay, I would not have blessed this marriage. Okay, or said, hey, this is gonna work out. I would not have told them that, and the reason being was because I would have saw what I see right now in this composite chart. So as you can see, the sun is at what, 10 degrees of Gemini. I mean, it's complete. It's a complete square, guys, of the seventh house cusp and her ascendant. Okay, and the composite ascendant. So that right there tells me right there that they shouldn't get married. Okay, just with that alone. You got the part of fortune right here. That's squaring the sun. Of course, you got Mercury squaring what? The seventh house cusp. That's her changing her mind about it, isn't it? Right? Here we go again with what? We got Mars. We got Mars and Venus at 22 degrees of Gemini. That's squaring the nodes right there. I mean, that's just a telltale sign. Like, look, this don't need to happen. If I would have saw that, that's the first thing would have popped out right there. Anyway, like that's what do we say about Venus and Gemini? Multiple lovers, right? Who knows what the hell was going on? So I can tell you right now, if I would have saw this, I would have said, you know what? Somebody, if y'all get married, somebody's gonna step out this marriage, somebody's gonna have multiple lovers, or somebody's gonna change their mind about being married to that other person. That's what I would have said. We got the moon right here. That's in opposition of the sun. It's of course, it's a separating aspect, but it still holds weight, guys. This is just not a good thing. A stellium right here. You got a stellium of planets as well as the node, just in complete opposition of that seventh house north node right there. That's the future right there, guys. So just looking at that by itself is just detrimental to the marriage. It would have been detrimental to the marriage. So they should have been more like she should have been more like Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell. If they would have did what Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell did, they would have still been together. I'll probably do a chart on Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell just to see how they did it, because they've been together for so long, but they didn't get married. And that's how this couple should have been. All right. Everybody's not designed for marriage. And I guarantee you, Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell, I guarantee you they wouldn't design for marriage. They probably went to somebody like me, and that astrologer probably said, hey, you know what? If y'all stay girlfriend and boyfriend or friends with benefits, you guys will be just fine. And that's what they did. So that's the deal with Leah Remini and Angelo Pagan. If they would have stayed girlfriend and boyfriend forever, or just friends with benefits forever, they would have been just fine. They could have still had the family. They could have still had that family just by being girlfriend and boyfriend. Or guess what? She could have stayed a fiance. She could have stayed just like that forever. All right. And they still would have been together right now to this day. But once you put marriage in here, it creates a whole different total dynamic. All right. You have a wedding ceremony. What did I say, guys, in one video? I told you when you have a ceremony, that's an invocation that creates a whole new energy. Okay. That creates an entirely new planetary alignment because it's an event. All right. So, and the planetary alignments affect that event. So that's all energy. So, but it is what it is. They're divorced now. And of course, she gonna get back out there, guys. She got that Venus held up high. Look at that, 28 degrees of Cancer. She's still sexy as hell. So she real sexy. So y'all already know what's gonna happen with her. And guess what? He can get back out there too. He probably gonna get a younger woman, which is really good. And of course, she go try to get a younger man. So there you go, guys. All right. So that's the deal with Leah Remini and Angelo Pagan. I wish them the best. Hopefully they learn their lesson. And who knows, to be honest with you, what really did it, guys, let me just say this. What really took it over the edge was multiple, because solar eclipses, they come in like eclipse families, right? So she kept having that solar eclipse hit that Juno. And she had a breaking point. 19 degrees of Aries or 21 degrees of Aries or Libra. It kept hitting that Juno just every single time. It kept hitting that Venus. And she said enough is enough. So she once it hits that, guys, of course, once it activates that, it's going to activate that semi-square to what? Mercury right there. So that created a energy in her mind to change her mind. She said, hey, I don't want this. I don't want to do this no more. I quit. That's what happened. All right. That's what happened with Leah Remini. All right. She just changed her mind. She said, you know what? I don't want to do this no more. That's a change of mind. Then she gonna say, it was a success? Is it? Hell no, it ain't no damn success. I mean, it's a success until death do us part, right, guys? Hell, just like the Carters, we saw from President Carter and Rosalind Carter. That's a successful marriage, guys. 77 years, one of y'all left the earth. Hell yeah, that's success right there. This right here, this is not a success. This is a straight failure, and she know it is too. Probably feeling guilty and shit. And but look, she gonna be all right. He gonna be all right. All right. So y'all learn from this. Keep it moving. And I see you guys on the next one.